USS Nimitz carrier strike force currently deployed in the South China Sea. This in the Asia Pacific in 2023. As lingering tensions over Taiwan and North Korea potentially escalate, Russia's war in Ukraine reminds many that this region is not safe from a military escalation. This as China carries out its own exercises in the same waters as the Nimitz, led by its newest carrier, the Shandong. China and the US are simultaneously flexing their muscles.
USS Nimitz may be the oldest aircraft carrier in the U.S. Navy, but it still does its job of projecting U.S. strength here in the Western Pacific. 0 to 120 miles an hour in 2.5 seconds.
The US has 11 active aircraft carriers. No other nation has more than 2, including China. But both the US and China have many more on the drawing board. As the US upgrades to Ford-class supercarriers, China reportedly aims for a global blue water navy by next decade.
What's concerning, I think, is not so much the changes in capability, it's the intent and crucially the perceptions of intent. So both sides see themselves as responding to the other's aggression, and that's a classic recipe for a cycle of escalation.
U.S. Carrier Strike Force 11 Commander Rear Admiral Christopher Sweeney met with us on the bridge of Nimitz off camera, saying his mission is to show the flag, an assurance to allies the U.S. will be here when the time is needed.
We're set up for the vulnerability of a military mistake. When there's no trust, there's no communication between nations. You have a.
Okay, I think that's enough. And then the other one, actually, this is just the similar news, but on the paper. And then this one is they kind of discuss what's gonna affect the, let me see, signing. What?
Fast Money's on the road in Miami. I think that's a lot more than.
Right now, this is not a high quality rally in the stock market. Let's be clear on that. So to me, I just think that we're going to be retesting those October lows at some point, probably in the second quarter.
It is amazing though how many people for.
So that's eventually.
Let's get to another potential concern for the markets. Top Air Force General warning that the U.S. could be at war with China in the next 2 years. This according to a memo obtained by NBC News. Eamon Javers joins us with more out of that memo and what it could mean for U.S. policy. Eamon.
Well, Melissa, taxpayers get paid. Taxpayers pay American generals to do 2 things, right? Fight wars and prepare for the next wars that are coming up. And in that new memo, General Mike Minihan used unusually blunt language. The general cites presidential elections in the United States and in Taiwan set for 2024 and postulates that the Chinese government could use those moments of political distraction to strike Taiwan. He says, my gut tells me we will fight in 2025. He added that he wants an agile joint force maneuver team ready to fight and win inside the first island chain. Now that kind of language, just usually not what you hear from American diplomats or from the White House. They tend to speak more in these gauzy terms about China being a strategic competitor. But a Department of Defense spokesperson tells NBC these comments are not representative of the department's view on China. So it's difficult to even talk about this, Melissa, in terms of the economic costs of a shooting war with China, when you compare it to the catastrophic loss of life and human suffering that would come from any kind of war like that. But it is safe to say that a war between the United States and China would have an immediate and devastating impact on supply chains and market access for American companies.
So this actually, I want to show you this, actually, this leads to our conclusion, like when we need to study the politics, the political system, the economic system of different countries, and stuff like that, you know, like if there's some conflict, the next discussion will be something that I want you guys to think about, okay, when there might be a potential conflict or something that might happen. As a business manager, what can we do to be prepared? Okay, so the next few minutes, that's something, you know, I want you guys to keep in mind first before we start talking about different political economic systems.
Thank you, Eamon Jabbers. So what's interesting about this memo, Guy, and you've been saying that this is on your sort of bingo card for wild card events this year in terms of geopolitical tensions, is that he's basically saying Taiwan and US will have elections in 2024 and they will both be distracted. And that's Xi Jinping's opportunity to jump in.
It makes perfect sense. Listen, we're talking about what are the ramifications for the economies, markets and stuff. So as Eamon mentioned, loss of life obviously is catastrophic. But when you talk about the markets, that's something we posited back before the Winter Olympics. If you remember, we talked about the potential Russia-Ukraine, that wound up happening probably a week before we thought it would happen. And China-Taiwan, it's out there. And again, you know, if you put yourselves in their shoes, it makes perfect sense. I hate to say it, but that is clearly out there. And 2025, I mean, that's not like it's all that far away. The market, in my opinion, the 19 VIX, wherever we close today, is clearly not priced.
Yeah, well, if you think about this, I mean, you know, deglobalization, if you think about the disruption of supply chains that we've had because of the pandemic on the flip side of it, I mean, this is massively inflationary. So for all you people thinking that the Fed may have to, you know, cut at some point because of declining growth in the back half this year, that might be the case. But if we're reshoring jobs and that point that we just made about the stickiness of those wage inflation, I mean, that could get just the Fed this tailwind to keep rates higher for longer.
Let's bring in famed short seller. This is our headliner for this evening. Jim Chanos, founder of Chanos and Company. Jim, it's a pleasure to have you with us. Thanks so much for joining us.
Welcome to my hood.
I know, your new hood, or not relatively new. I
Done it
guess.
20 years.
20 years, I didn't realize that long.
Yeah.
What do you make of this memo, this notion that we could be at war with China? It feels like people don't want to believe it or don't believe it.
Yeah, I mean, the war in the Pacific is serious stuff. I mean, let's not forget we have a land war in Europe going on right now. I mean, you know, sort of or two tanks, artillery, things we haven't really seen in our lifetime. And so the shooting war in the Pacific, you know, all bets are off. I mean, I certainly hope that doesn't happen. And but yeah, I mean, it upsets everything because of what Guy said. I mean, whether it's supply chains, whatever. I mean, having China go to war with the West would be just.
All to your view on China and how you view that market in terms of opportunities for you.
Yeah, well, obviously our view on China, which is now 12 years old, I mean, has been based on the financial system and the debt and real estate markets over there. And not a whole lot changes. Obviously, China will become more insular. I've been watching the China reopening trade like everybody else has for the last 6 or 9 months. And sort of marveling at it. But I don't think there's any way to handicap it from my perspective as a hedge fund manager. I mean, again, if it happens, it's the unintended consequences will be severe.
Do you think though, you know, going forward, we're just seeing, you know, the situation with Russia and Ukraine was so simple. US multinationals had to take a stand about the Russian aggression. It's a little different with China. When you think about our reliance from a manufacturing standpoint, our US multinationals' interest in that emerging middle class, which has been a part of the bull case for 20 years now in China, how would that play out? Because I really feel like that could change the dynamic for a lot of US companies.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we're far more intertwined into the Asian economies, in particular China. And so anything that would end that and bring us into a Cold War, much less a shooting war, I mean, this has to be, just a major event for not only markets, but geopolitics. I mean, it's scary stuff.
Jim, we talked about,
Okay, I guess that's it. So, so it is like, in the future classes, you guys will be hearing me talk about this a lot, because I think I told you I'm originally from Taiwan, and that's why I watch this kind of news closely. And yeah, so let's talk about the different political system, economic system, across the world, and just see, just be aware of the situation when in the future when you guys become business manager for a global company. Keep those in mind when maybe the company is going to send you to work in Asia. Those are the things that it will help you to make decisions. So in the international business, I think we kind of talk about it, like it could be more complicated. The reason we need to study global management is because different countries, they have different political system, economic system, even legal system. So today we are going to kind of talk about those systems, and then the culture, is different as well. So the culture part, we will talk about next time in chapter 3. But so today we're going to focus on the political, economic, and legal system. So so this whole system, when we combine the political, economic, legal systems, that's what we call political economy. Okay, and they could be interdependent. Intuitively, we would think that usually the free economy goes with the democratic political system, right? But maybe in some rare cases, there are some free economy that's under sort of like dictatorship. Okay, so we will see. Basically, when we talk about political systems, that's a system of a government in a country. Okay, and usually we look at it as like it comes with the philosophy behind the system. So basically, I already kind of talked about it. We have democratic system and we have totalitarian system. Okay, so democratic system is what? Majority of the citizens, they will make decision. Like we express our opinion by our vote, right? So if we how should I put it? If we agree with some policy, then we will vote for the candidate that support the policy. Otherwise, we vote for the candidate that doesn't support the policy. So whatever, in US case, whatever parties they support certain policy, if they win certain election, they kind of, people or the politicians, they will kind of know, majority of people support which policy, okay? So, so that's democratic system. But behind that, we actually have the philosophy, collectivism versus individualism, okay? So does anybody know what is collectivism?
It's like you're more focused on your peers and friends and family rather than
Yourself. Yes, okay, very good. So collectivism believe that we should focus more on the general public, like the society as a whole. Like you focus on, they want to do something for the whole society and not just value the personal benefit, okay? So based on the collectivism, the collectivism, it goes back to Greek philosophy, Plato. Plato has this book, Utopia, right? Utopia. He wrote a book, right? I forgot the exact term. Utopia. Have you guys heard of it? No? Okay. So utopia, like the ideal country, okay? So in his book, he thinks that, like everything seems like everybody will be taken care of, they will live a good life, so it's like in a in a like ideal situation. And the property should be owned in common. That means the government, the state should own the property, and then they can distribute the property evenly to people. So everybody will be taken good care of, okay? But so in collectivism, the needs of society as whole, they are emphasized more than individual freedom, individual willingness, okay? So that's collectivism. And socialism, well, so socialism, it comes back to Karl Marx. So he is the one that brought up socialism, and socialism actually, the thought initiated from the idea from the Plato, from collectivism, okay? So socialism believed that the state, the government should own businesses, so they can, so business won't be profit too much, whatever business, when we run business, we make sure every person's needs are taken care of. Like if the government runs the phone carriers, so they will give us like really nice, cheap plan, and everybody will have the phone access, and everybody has free Wi-Fi, stuff like that, okay? So in theory, we want to benefit the whole society, okay? So I believe the idea behind this is very good. Who doesn't want to have like certain quality of life, right? But unfortunately, human being, we are lazy. So, right? Our nature, if we don't need to work hard, we won't. So unfortunately, under this system, people are not motivated, okay? So people get lazy and then kind of bankrupt the state-owned enterprises, okay? So they fail to succeed because they are going to get paid no matter what, okay? So that's unfortunate, and that's what happened to our like Medicare system, because people benefit from it without working for it. Okay, the idea, I believe the idea is good, like to take care, poor people that they cannot afford insurance. I like the idea, but how to execute it, how to motivate people that receive the benefit, something that we have to try to work on. So that's socialism. And another philosophy is individualism. So that goes back to Aristotle. Aristotle is Plato's student, okay? So he thinks that, oh, well, the collectivism will not work because we want to feel motivated, like I told you guys, we want to be motivated. So we want to feel encouraged to do stuff, okay? So that's why the individualism, they think that we as individual, we have freedom to do whatever we want, okay? And to pursue whatever we want to do. And we actually emphasize on the personal achievement. So this is actually, so this leads to the democratic system, because democratic focus on personal preference, right? But majority of people, if majority of people agree with certain issues, like in Pennsylvania, let's say, we just passed, we passed it like maybe in 2016, we legalized medical marijuana, and we are in the process of legalize recreational marijuana. But in a lot of more conservative state, it's not legalized. So majority of people there, they don't agree to legalize marijuana, okay? But maybe people here, majority of people here agree to legalize the marijuana. So that's why, it's like we have our own voice, right? So we can, so this is the foundation of the democratic system and free market as well. The business is not owned by state government, it's owned by, entrepreneur or whatever, person, whatever owns the business. So they would work hard because they get rewarded by the money they can make, right? So it's more motivated than the state-owned business. And then people, like when, let's say, waiter, waitress, they would, if they treat their customer nice, they get more tips. So they have motivation to be nice. But if you go to China or, like Europe, oh my God, when I went to Europe, they are so mean. Like maybe Europeans are naturally mean, but they are not nice. Like that, like in US, like people are nice. The waitress or waiters are nice. So that's that's the difference. But so that's the fundamental difference between individualism and collectivism. Okay, and so democracy is a political system where we think that people have the voice. Okay, it's the power actually spread out to people. Like we have opinion, but whether or not our opinion is manipulated, it's another story. But we do have our opinion and we can vote. Okay, so and then the opposite of democracy is totalitarianism. So that means that the government is controlled by one or very few group of, like a small group of people. Okay, and in China's example, that's the Communist Party. The Communist Party actually they have this system where the top Communist Party officials, they usually they control the military, they control some important government positions. So it's like it's controlled by the party. So usually in totalitarianism, they have political repression. Okay, there's no other party that's allowed in China, and no free, fair elections. Oh, I thought you have questions. So when they vote, it's always like one candidate, right? And I think I shared with you guys last, like when they have their whatever Congress meeting, one of the previous chairperson was escorted out by force, but later on they say he didn't feel well. But nobody, but I don't believe that. I don't know if you guys watched the video, how he was. Okay, so you believe he didn't? Yeah. So yeah. So a media is censored. Okay, I don't remember who I had the discussion with. Like we were talking about how the dictator, they are like actually they are supported by people. Okay, they say how come they support like Putin? How come Russians supported, like they actually like Putin? And she from China, they love him. They love his wife as well. So how come? So I think people ask me how come, and I say, well, media is censored. So the media only say something nice about the leader, even the leader's wife. They will say, oh, they'll comment like, oh, look how stylish she is. And then if she is meeting some foreigner diplomat, and they will say, oh, look at like her English is perfect. She's like the right fit for the president's wife, the first lady, So they would do something like that. And then the basic civil liberties are denied. Like in China, they hate when people gather together and then protest. So you guys are too young for a Tiananmen Square event. Have you guys heard of it? Okay, so that's one thing, not the protest itself, but the fact that the students, millions of students, they were able to gather in the Tiananmen Square with very short notice without Communist Party knowing. So they somehow just gathered together, and when they got there, they scared the Chinese government because they were like, how come we didn't even know about this, and it just happened so fast. So that's the thing that they got scared. But they do allow some kind of, if you kind of file the protest, or you want to parade or something, they will allow it, but they need to control it, like they need to know, and they might deny when you apply. So that's why. And then the challenges to the regime are prohibited. Okay, so we'll see what happens with Xi. The funny thing is that when he was elected for this, and then he changed the law that the prime minister can serve more than 2 terms. So this is his 3rd term. So he kind of changed the law. When he was changing it in UK, at the same time, the prime minister, I forgot her name. What's her name? The shortest term, she was the prime minister for like 44 days. What's her name? I forgot her name. Yeah. So she resigned, while the other guy, he wanted to have more power, and then she just resigned because of some the political, maybe a decision. I think it's like the communication issue, like her team decided to do this. It doesn't go with the central bank decision. So anyway, so after the political system, economic system. So we have general 2 like extreme. One is market economy, and then one is command economy, and then we have something in between, mixed economy. Okay, so the market economy is what we call free economy. Basically, the market price, everything is decided by supply demand. Okay, like you guys see, what's expensive now? Eggs are so expensive. It used to be like $1 something, now it's like $5. Okay, so because what's the reason? Anybody tell me?
Wasn't it a reflection of pigs or something like that? It's
Pigs? How will pigs related to eggs? So the bird flu, right? Is it called bird flu? So it killed a lot of chicken. So we don't have. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, I didn't even realize I said.
Yeah. So chicken. So that's the reason, because the supply is lower. When the supply is lower, price go up, right? Same as when demand is up, supply, the price is up. So that's the free economy. And then we have the command economy, where, like I told you guys, everything owned by the government, like North Korea or in Cuba. Cuba, I think maybe they are mixed now, but like the government control everything. Okay, government control everything. So they set the price, and government own the companies. So this is another thing about China. So after Xi won the 3rd term, he say he will focus on promoting more state-owned enterprises, because a lot of when Soviet Union collapsed, a lot of Eastern Europe, their state-owned enterprises become privatized. So become like the normal business. And China as well, they privatize a lot of state-owned businesses, but now they want to go backward. I shouldn't say backwards. That means I put my value on what they are doing. But they try to go back to state-owned enterprises. So that kind of concerns me. Okay, and ever since then, I short the Chinese stocks. So, but ever since I shorted the Chinese stock, their stock market has been going up. So I'm losing a lot of money now. But I'm still waiting. I don't believe that. I think one day they will go. So it's yeah. So market economy. I think we kind of talk about it. So it's determined by supply and demand. And in command economy, businesses are state-owned. So, in theory, everybody would be, like, people will be able to get whatever, they will be, receiving the product, equally. But unfortunately, because of its state-owned, so the efficiency is not there and the employee motivation is not high. So maybe the innovation and the dynamism are not there, okay, because people are not motivated. So the privatizations that are, introduced to provide incentives to some of the former communist country, but I don't know how China would react. And North Korea, this is Kim Jong-un. He tried to inspect the factory. You see here, so this is a highly controlled dictator economy or country. And then this is let's see if I can, so this is a news about what happened in China. So this girl, Fan Bingbing, she is a very famous actress, and she made a lot of money. Okay, and in China, so this is her. So she was locked because the government claimed that she owed tax money. They tried to, she tried to escape from the tax, and she was fined $70 million for the tax evasion. But it's actually, and then the government controlled the media. So the media released a lot of bad news about her. So in the beginning, she kind of denied she tried to escape tax, which I believe, whatever she did is legal. It's somewhat legal. Like, a lot of rich people, they can, try to escape tax, but they would follow the book, like they would do different things. So I believe she did that, but still, in US system, then those people will be okay as long as they show evidence. But here, the governments know that she made a lot of money, but she didn't pay enough tax for that. So they find a way to, to make her pay tax. Even Jack Ma, the founder of Alibaba, so the government make him hire more people from remote area, like from, let's say, I don't know, maybe someone like, what's like the remote area in US?
Small.
Huh?
Small area.
Yeah, like very remote, the very behind.
Texas behind on that.
Texas, no, I wouldn't say Texas. Or like New Mexico. Ohio, I think Ohio is okay.
West Virginia.
West Virginia, okay, so maybe in the middle of West, like small town in West Virginia, they have very like, how should I put it? Like not many people go to college, some village like that in China. So the government say, we want to develop those villages. You need to hire people from there. But in Alibaba, they have a lot of programmers, a lot of coders. If you don't get training, if you are not educated, how are you going to know how to do that? So they were not able to hire enough people from those villages. So the government kind of got upset with him. It's like, they actually say, Alibaba, you just focus on making money. You don't give back to society. Because they don't listen to the government. So that's why we say he was retired. Okay, he didn't really want to retire, but he was, I think he disappeared for a few months. And then we were like, where is he? And that's when he, and then after that, he said, oh, he's going to retire. And now his whole family, they moved to Japan. They don't even live in China and it doesn't show up on the social media that much, okay? So that's when we live in when people live in a different political system, okay? So be very careful. And then what's the basketball player that got caught carrying marijuana in Russia? Huh? Brittany Reiner? Yeah. So it's, I mean, she has the marijuana card, right? So in theory, she is allowed to use marijuana, but not in Russia. But I think in the more democratic countries, this will be handled much differently, right? It won't be handled like this.
She played in Russia before, so she definitely knows the rules of Russia. She did that to herself.
Well, yes, but it's just she didn't like I think she just put it in and then without even realizing.
She had like a bunch, and she was trying to sell it in Russia.
Really? Oh.
It was the same thing we was talking about with the insurance, how if you go out and then you go and you get the fees, it's kind of like that.
What?
We was talking about the cosmetic surgeries and how you go out.
Yeah.
So when she should have thought about that, like her medical card, like this.
Oh, okay, then, but like I said, if she does that in Europe, it won't be such a big deal, but in Russia or even in Taiwan, I mean, in Taiwan, marijuana is definitely illegal. It's considered same level as cocaine. So everything is the same level in Taiwan. All drugs are as bad as cocaine. So even in Taiwan, it will go through a very legal, like a standard process. Maybe they would move her back to US for,
But even places like Jamaica, weed is like very illegal down there.
Really?
Yeah, even though it's like the most grown shit down there, it's like, nah, the weed.
Yeah, so we should be locked up like that right away. So this is definitely, I think it's more political than legal in this case. But so do you believe economic freedom is the must for a country to provide on the stage of international business? So does one country have to have economic freedom to allow to allow international business?
They don't need to.
Don't need to, right?
No.
Yeah. So which country do you think has the highest economic freedom? Huh? Us? Okay. Let me see, do I have? This is the economic freedom world map. So us, very free, Canada and Australia and New Zealand, very free, okay? Yeah, it's 2009. And then,
Wow, which ones have no data? That's crazy.
yeah.
Wow.
So this is, what is this? This is, let me see, what is this country? How about this one? This is, this,
I think it's a Stan or.
no, this is, okay, this is Egypt, this is Sudan. Yeah, this, look it up. This, what is this? This is this like Iraq or, this is Saudi, right? Is this Saudi?
Yeah, that's how
And then this one,
What's above,
it's Israel, is it Israel?
is it
I think
Israel?
it's Israel.
Not Israel, above that. Which one's above the US that has no data?
This one in
No,
Canada.
not Canada, the one next to it.
This one is Alaska.
No, the one to the right. Iceland?
This one,
Yeah.
this is Newfoundland. Newfoundland. Yeah, I don't know who owns Newfoundland. I tried to look it up, but think it's owned by like several countries, like research team in there. But it's like, yeah, you found it because they don't have much activity going on. So that's this. What is this? But look, this is 2009, okay? 2010, US become mostly free, okay? Yeah, US become less free. And then this country, this still, yeah. And then this is 2018. Okay, we are good now. Okay, we are going back. But no, no, we are in a little bit lighter green. Even Canada become lighter green. And then New Zealand and Australia, they are like 100% free.
Everybody else is going down.
Yeah. So
The great part in South America, I guess it's Suriname. I'll say that wrong.
huh?
Suriname. It's right next to Guana.
Oh, that's Africa?
In South America.
Yeah.
That little gray area,
Yeah.
it's Suriname.
Is it Venezuela? Yeah, it's Venezuela.
It's next to Venezuela.
Next.
Oh, that is Venezuela.
Yeah, this is Venezuela.
Yeah, that gray part on the slide before. Yeah, that little gray part,
Oh, this one.
that is, I don't know how to say it.
Okay.
Suriname.
Okay, I need to look it up. I never heard of it.
And then the gray part in Africa at the top, that one is Libya.
Oh, Libya. Yeah, this is new because they were not gray before. In 2018, they become gray. So I think I remember they had some kind of like the military dictatorship took over or something. And this is 2021. This is Libya. This is Venezuela. Is this Cuba? Yeah, Cuba. This is Cuba. And then the highest is Canada. Canada is 98. US, unfortunately, it's not 98. And then New Zealand, 99. Yeah, New Zealand here. Australia, I think it's very close.
Is it like, they say like really different down there?
Where?
In like New Zealand and Greenland. Like, I don't know which one it was, but I've seen a video. And then like, but they do the prisoners instead of like locking them up, they would teach them how to become a part of society.
Ah, yeah.
Jobs in jail.
New Zealand and Australia. Yeah, they are a little bit different because they are like in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah. So it's different. And then the least corrupt is also New Zealand and Australia. They don't pay their politician, very, very, very good. So if you want to be a politician, you really want to do the job, like you really want to do something, yeah. So here, you guys have your phone. Go to Google China, google.cn. What do you see? Can do it here. So they say not secure, and then they direct you to go to Hong Kong. Okay, yeah,
Google.cn.
yeah, that's China's
That's crazy.
symbol.
So they have another way. That's why like everything's tracked on there.
No, they close, Google actually close, they exit China. In 2006, Google launched in China, okay? In 2010, they have some kind of attack, and they try to get the information from some of the Chinese human rights activists, and they want to get their email address, they want to get their IP address, the government, and then they ask Google to cooperate with the government to hand in those people's information. Yeah, and Google refused, and then Google just decided to exit China in 2010. But they thought, and at that time, Google was like one of the biggest company in IT. So they thought by doing that, by saying they are going to exit, a lot of high-tech company will follow them, but nobody did. So it become kind of sad. So now that's why what is the search engine in China? So that's when, you know, those search engine in China become very popular, they grow really fast because, you know, after Google exit, they become dominant. Yep.
So what do they use in China now?
Baidu. B-E-I or B-A-I-D-U. Baidu. And then they use Baidu. Look it up. And yeah, so they also have like Wikipedia, like Baidupedia or something like that. Yeah. So but now I think they wanted to return. Okay. Let's share this one. So NBA. Oh, you guys know what happened to the NBA? So it was yeah.
So they can't use like any of the Google like things then, like YouTube or Waze or
Nope.
something like.
They can in China you can even access Facebook.
Yes.
Yeah, you can. Unless
I don't want like video games like. They can't have like red, but it's wrong website or like change colors.
really? That I don't know. I'm not into, but their gaming industry is booming. Yeah, their gaming industry is booming in China as well. Yeah, they have like different professional team they played, and then you know, yeah. So that's what I know because I watch on Netflix. There's a TV show. I forgot. I don't know English term, but it's about a gaming players. Yeah. So yeah.
You're talking about the one where they're like, it's like three of them. They get like stuck in the game or no?
No. I talk about like they have like 5 players in one team, and then like some like the one team they recruit the only female professional gaming player. So she is under a lot of stress, you know, playing. Not to mention that you know majority of parents don't agree. They think that's not a job. So they try to, you know, so it's just try to like show the society that it's a new career, and actually they actually work hard to be the professional player. Yeah. So Google Map. Have you guys anybody travel like drive to Canada? So have you noticed like if you use Google Map, does it change?
I wasn't driving.
Oh.
I was on.
So in the future, if you guys are driving to Canada, you know, pay attention to the Google Map. Like when you go to Canada, in US we use miles, but when you go to Canada, it becomes meters, and then they change the system. Okay, so so Google Map, you know, they will also change, and then they will change the map in different countries. So like there is what's the word? Like dispute, not dispute, like some kind of disagreement between China and India. So you guys can see. So like in a Himalaya area, so China claimed like this part of land belongs to Tibet, and India claimed that's part of India. Okay, so in Google Map, when you are in India, you will see that part of land belong to India, but in China, it's belong to China. So that's, you know, so the business has to change based on where they are. They don't want to, upset the local authority, right? So, and then legal system. So when we talk about legal system, believe it or not, I don't know if you guys know, not every country have jury system. You guys know that? Like actually, literally only US and UK use the jury system. All other countries, they use different system. Okay, they only have judge. They don't have jury. Okay, so that's because in US and UK, we are following the, I think it's called, let me look it up. We have different systems. So we follow the common law. So in common law, we rule based on the tradition, the president, especially the president, and the custom. So if you like, I don't know how many of you have been to court or serve as jury. Anybody serve as jury? Who? Oh, okay. I was picked before. So they would like, or we watch a lot of law related movies or TVs, right? So they usually the lawyer or the defendant, the public defendant, they would like say, oh, based on blah blah blah, some case, some year, some case, the ruling is this, and then this and that. So they actually use a lot of precedents. If you don't really have the written law, like like code 1.1, this. But in the civil law system, okay, Germany, France, Japan, Russia, Germany, France, even Taiwan, we use the civil law. So we have like so many different law books. Okay, the law, commerce law, they have different detail of laws. Like they would, or we have the lease law or rent. Or I don't know how to translate, but like the house, the rental property law. Okay, so they will put in everything related to, like you can think of, to rent a property. They will put it there. But in US or UK, when you sign a lease, like the lease is like usually very long. They have a lot of like different how do you call it, like policies. So like painting, can you paint the wall? Can you do this, right? So they have everything in there. But in the civil law country, they don't have that. I mean, they have everything. They have a book of law related to lease. So when you sign contract, basically you just say, oh, how much you're going to pay per month and how long is the lease, name, the landlord's name, your name, that's it. Okay, everything else is taken care of in the book, in the detail of laws. Okay, so that's the difference. So if we do business with a German company, you might be surprised to see like, oh, just a piece of paper and then their company's name, your company's name and signature. But for US company, we will have everything listed in there. So that's something, we need to understand, and we need to consult lawyers in 2 locations, right? To see, whether or not, how are we going to cooperate to work with that, okay? Whether or not our contract actually violates whatever law they have in Germany or in different countries. So, and then we also have a theocratic law based on the religious teaching. So Islamic law is like the famous one, okay? So, and then the Vatican City, they also practice the theocratic. It's a theocratic government. So that's the difference like I just talked about in contract law. In the common law system, we'll have different type of contract than the civil law country. So here we have the civil law. common law. Like I say, oh, I didn't know Australia is also common law. So North America. Okay. Oh yeah, UK. So I didn't know Australia is also common law. Yeah. So it's awesome law. And then under legal system, we also have the property right protection, or some of the private action, like some government, they will just take over your property. So your property is not protected.
Like Dubai, also my mom's in Dubai right now.
Yeah.
She said like she curses there. I'm like, that's it.
Are you serious? What did she curse in English?
Yeah.
Who arrested and then just heard her? Like was
Like,
she?
she could get arrested, but if
Oh.
someone like hears it and like, it's it.
Yes.
It's a lot, yeah,
How long was she in Dubai?
a few weeks.
Nice. Oh, work. Okay. So, did you guys watch Dubai Bling? No? Huh?
Just like a lot of weird laws there. You spit on the sidewalk. And get arrested, or, like,
Yes,
fined.
very strict. Very strict. In Singapore, if you spit your gum on street, you get arrested and you get whipped. You know, in Singapore, they whip people. Like that's their punishment. So, but, and they calculated like very well. They use, it's not like the wood we know, it's like the metal. It's metal. So they will calculate like, yeah, it is, because usually people get paralyzed, got whooped. Yeah, but they won't kill you. They just, they just want to whoop and then paralyze you. Yeah, so many years ago, I remember when I was in high school, there was a huge news. American teenager went to Singapore and spit the gum, got arrested, and American government tried to get him back because they can see him get whooped. But then Singapore was like, they insist on doing that, but I don't know what happened later on. You guys can try to look it up. So yeah, so they were very strict. Yeah, but if you've been to Singapore, you would know why they are very strict, because at that time they try to transform the country. So if you've been to Singapore, it's very clean. Yeah, very, very clean. And I remember when I took the subway, I didn't know why, but later on I knew. So when we took the subway, they have like seats, 3 seats together, right? So one guy was sitting here, so there are 2 seats. So I just went to sit like the other seat. So there's another seat in between us. And then I was traveling with 2 other friends, so 3 of us. So I said, oh, you guys want to sit here? But before I even said that, the guy just got up. So 3 of us were able to sit there. We're like, oh, Singapore guys are nice. They let us sit. They let us sit here. But then our tour guide said, oh, well, Singapore are very strict, not like the law related to rape. So if somehow when I sit there and I claim this guy touched me, he will get in so much trouble. Like if I just claim, oh, this guy touched me, in a proper way, in an improper way, he will get arrested and he will be whipped. So that's why he was worried. He doesn't want any close contact with me. That's why he got up. Yeah, not because. Yeah.
So it was Michael B. LaFay.
Yeah.
He was arrested in 1994 and sentenced to 6 caning, they call it over there. And the United States requested leniency, and he only got caned 4 times in 1994.
Cane means whooped, right? Yeah, 4 times. So what happened to him?
He was released after the caning and fined $3,500 after 4 months in prison.
But was he paralyzed? And somehow they say people will be different once you get caned. Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So 1994, see, I remember right. Oh, wait, that was when I was in college. So,
That's crazy.
yeah,
It doesn't say he, and
okay. Yeah, so be very careful when you travel to somewhere, be very, very careful. But, oh, I don't want to tell you guys. So, so see here, the corruption index. New Zealand is the least corrupt country. I was very surprised to see US. US is score 70 something. Okay, so US somewhat corrupted. Okay.
I feel like we should be lower.
that's so
I
bullshit.
feel like we should be lower.
That's
You mean like we should be near Italy?
It's corrupted.
Like here, right? China? Maybe better than China.
It's so corrupted that the graph is corrupted.
Zimbabwe. You got.
Worse than China?
I mean, no, not worse, but it's definitely gonna be more fun.
Our laws make no sense. Like, we got people locked up for weed and not
Wow.
legal in the States. That makes
What's so corrupted that the graph is corrupted?
That's, there you go, that's what I'm saying.
Let me see. Yeah, so maybe American government pay them off.
Yeah, really.
Whose turn is it?
This is corruption index by where is it?
Oh, yeah.
No, this is
GOP.
this is here, trading economics.
Yeah, that's.
So Denmark is the #1 now.
Where's the
Number
US?
one, least corrupt. Yeah,
So where's the US at?
Yeah, what's yours?
US is
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
here.
That makes more sense.
Makes much more sense.
It's a lot of sense.
So, oh, Taiwan is more corrupt than US. Yeah, I believe that because we need to pay red envelope everywhere. And Israel. And then I was telling my daughter in Taiwan, we usually, when I grew up, we usually joke about like, if someone pissed me off, I would say, be careful, some gangster might reach out to you. Like you tell people that you are connected with gangsters and then they will give whoever offend you a lesson, So we say that a lot. And my daughter said, this is so wrong, like you cannot say it here. I used to say that to my ex-husband. And he got so mad, like I said, I'm going to hire someone to kill you, and then he got so mad. But I wouldn't say that here. Yeah. So so my daughter is like, you don't say that here, you always say it improper. So that's the cultural difference. And we also say you don't actually hire the gangster, you hire police. If you are really powerful, you have connection, the police will give you a lesson, right? So I don't know if it's the case here, but it is the case in Taiwan. So if you guys visit Taiwan and get in trouble, you can call me. I can help. Yeah, we have connection. So you see here, wow, Italy is kind of, yeah. And then Malaysia, China is here. Okay, so yeah.
They got Caribbean islands on there.
Yeah, because they are loose, like people are more loose, not very uptight.
Is there Haiti on there? I want to
Haiti?
Haiti, yeah, how low Haiti is.
Haiti, let's do it.
Haiti's.
How do you spell Haiti? H-A-I?
Haiti's messed up.
Yeah, here, Haiti.
It's almost at the bottom.
Yeah, almost in the bottom.
Haiti's in a state of distress right now, bro.
No.
And then Libya, North Korea. Oh, Venezuela, Syria, Somalia. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
It's still
Somalia's
recovering from a
pretty-
hurricane years ago.
I'm
doing this.
So that's something that you guys, when you visit some countries, that's something you should, be let me see what I visit Egypt a few months ago. Let me see where Egypt is. Oh, Egypt is kind of in the bottom too. Yeah, Egypt. Yeah. So Yep. So that's, when you are in those places, you need to be careful and make sure you prepare enough cash. Especially when you try to enter, when you pass the immigration. Let me see. Oh, so see here, Starbucks. Can you tell? Starbucks. And then, so they kind of try to copy, right? And then they have USA Bucks, the Starbucks, and they also have Buck Star. Where's the Buck Star? So you see, a lot of these are fake. And a few years ago, one US journalist, her iPhone was broken or something. She tried to buy stuff, so she entered Apple store, and she thought it's authentic. They decorated just like the real Apple store, and then she found out it's fake. And they found out they have hundreds of the fake Apple store there. In China. Yeah. Yeah, because they have connection with the factories. Yeah, yeah. No, but it doesn't work. So it doesn't work very long. A lot of charger, the cable we bought on Amazon, sometimes it works for a few days, sometimes it works for only a few weeks, and it's not working. Not like the one we got from the Apple store, which is much, much more expensive. Yeah. So I don't know if you guys bought the $1 charger. I bought the $1 cable and it only lasts me a few days. Yeah. And then I realized it's not worth it. I'll pay $30 to get the, yeah. So that's where they get those stuff from. Yeah. So, Buck Star coffee. Yeah. See, you see difference. They try to trick you. See that? Yeah. So to protect the intellectual property or the patents, the trademarks, in some country, it's not that they don't protect it like that. Okay, and especially for some the rivals company. When I say rivals company, China, US are sort of like rivalries. So the US companies, they certainly won't try to protect the US companies' right in China. Okay. So, but we have 185 from the World Intellectual Property Organization. They try to force that. Okay. But still, whenever, we have if I want to watch a movie, usually when they play in China, you can find free copy online. Yeah, usually. So that's something that when you try to do business in the countries like that, that's something you have to be very careful. Okay. And any other questions? So I guess that's it. So like I say, when we try to, China still is a big economy where, we know if we only make $1 profit from one consumer, we can make a lot of money there because they have a huge market. But, those are some of the risks, like the example I show you guys, that's something we have to consider when we try to enter, countries like that. So that's it for today. Wait, let me, to take attendance really quick, okay? So today we're going to do counterclockwise. So let me start recording.